Good morning, Canada. So we have a lot to talk about today. A lot of Canadians like myself who are showing their support for someone that happens to be the next P of America. We have mysteriously had our accounts taken down, which is very, very odd, but when you really think about it, it's not. So, freedom of expression has been impeded on Canadians, and it looks as though that most of us who support a certain man in the States who just got elected, we got our accounts completely banned. And it was nothing like I've ever seen. I've had my account suspended before. It literally, I was in the middle of making a video, counted me down, told me, your appeal time has reached its limit, and I'm like, I appealed to you guys. You guys are supposed to answer that appeal. Anyways, taken down immediately, logged out, just gone. 13,000 followers down the drain, which is hard to get anyways when you're in Canada because they regulate our content so much and shadow ban and whatever. And we all know that TikTok is owned, by the way, by China, and Trudeau and China are like this, but I do find that TikTok is the only place that gets my videos out there. Now, whether that's because China likes us being in conflict all the time or what, I have no idea, because to get 1,000 followers on fucking YouTube is like pulling teeth, and getting 1,000 followers can happen in a day on TikTok very easily. But that's not what we're talking about. So during in the bill C11, the CRTC can take down content that they deem objectionable, objectionable. Basically, they can literally get you for anything: misinformation, disinformation. Oh my gosh. Like, what my videos are taken down the most for, like what my freedom of expression has been impeded on the most, is when I talk about soji being not good for the community, because they know that I am a very center-leaning person. They know that I'm level-headed about it. They know I've done my research. Queer theory seeks to eliminate terms such as gay and straight. It's extremely homophobic. It's extremely problematic to tell people, like the queer community, that if people don't believe in soji, which is sexual orientation, gender identity, do you think that's an appropriate even term to teach to kindergartners? Because it happens. Okay. And they've gone so extreme with it, and they damn well know it. And then when you turn around and say, hey, this isn't okay, coming from somebody who's been to Pride, went to Pride, I'm bisexual. Okay. My children have had no problems, telling me things about their lives. I'm not going to say anything, but I've just seen the negative impacts when it comes to my kids, and I'm not going to break their privacy or anything. But one day, all of these kids who you forced into teaching this shit to will come forward, and you're going to have to deal with that. And not to say that this happens in every classroom. I worked in the classrooms, and it's basically like on these PD days, they get this like woke bullshit training. The first one that we ever faced for the woke bullshit training basically told us to let homeless people beat the shit out of us because they were coming from tougher times, but I digress. I haven't been there since the gender identity stuff, but I was there for the BLM, and they basically told us, they had a white woman tell us how racist we were for like 3 days straight. This is during COVID. Where we needed to, like, in the beginning when everybody was still scared, going 2020 September, we literally had workshops on BLM, okay? And it was really up to you if you implemented it into your classroom. So if your kid has a woke teacher, you're fucked. If not, you're good. Let's move on. The second thing that I have it impeding, like they take down all the time, is when I talk about my you-know-what injury. I was forced to get 2. And in Canada, we were the only fucking country that was doing 2 different sets of shots. So my first one was a Pfizer. My second one was a mod. Or no, first one was a mod, second was a Pfizer. And after my second one, I got up and fell to the ground. And my health has never been the same since. I was exposed to COVID 6 times in the school. By the way, I watched them cover up. I watched the unions cover up a party that was had by teachers during lockdowns and gave everybody COVID. And then they lied to the rest of the staff. And the only reason we knew was because some of us got asked if we were invited to the party and some of us didn't. So I digress. I honestly, they have every right to get together. They were forced to be at work, and you guys are like, oh, the only people working right now are teachers, and expect them not to get together. Like, I don't blame my old staff for that. I wasn't invited. Because I was a loser and everybody hated me because I was, never mind. That's too much, and they might actually see this one day. Okay. So when I talk about this injury, and then I got COVID, I went to Niagara Falls. It was during the convoy. So I was in favor of the convoy because of what happened to my grandma. My grandma was, and it's almost been 3 years now, denied her cancer treatment over and over and over again. And she wanted to get the treatment. So then by the time she did get the treatment, it just ruined everything. And she died very quickly of a turbo cancer. But she was double vaccinated, thank God. Anyways, and then that, like, when my grandma died was when my symptoms of the you-know-what really started happening with my menstrual cycle and my intestines. Until I got COVID in February during the convoy, my lungs were fine. But now, because I got COVID after I was exposed to COVID so many times, I literally was in lockdown in 2021 for 6 weeks longer than everybody else in Ontario because of how much our school shut down. And anyways, so yeah, I'm not allowed to talk about that. I'm not allowed to talk about how basically I was exposed to COVID so many times until I got double you-know-whatted. And then after I was double you-know-whatted, to be able to keep my job, to be able to participate in society, like, my husband and I sat down and said to each other, like, okay, because he didn't work during the pandemic. He had to stay home. Every time your kids were sick during the pandemic, you had to stay home for 10 days. So he would stay home with the kids because I had a really good paying job in the schools, obviously. And yeah, like, even I'm going to make an episode on what the schools looked like, at least where I was, and how cruel it really was and how awful it was. But I'm not allowed to talk about any of this stuff. And I will be lucky if my account does not get taken down, because we live in such a censorship fucking country, and I'm just begging for someone like Candace Owens or Brett Cooper to see this so I could get we could get our stories out there. Like, Canadians, like, we are struggling. And then if C-63 goes through, I'm in jail. I'm in fucking jail for saying the things that I said to you. And even I already watch my mouth because I'm scared of what unions are going to do to me. I'm scared of what the government's going to do to me. And, you know, I always watch my mouth because I did go to school. I went to school to be a child and youth worker. That's how I knew that all of the shit that was going on was not okay. It was not correct. And I do believe that the 2 years after I left, they changed the thing entirely. And they learn, like, DEI instead of ethics and morals, okay? Ethics and principles and values. Those are the things that keep institutions trusting with the clients that they deal with. It stuns me how many these ethics that hospitals and all of us were willing to break. As I say this, because I was in schools and implementing rules that I should never have implemented. Let's just say this, that our kids were having a way worse time than Karla Homolka did ever in jail, because Canadian jails are a fucking joke. Everybody's wondering right now why the Conservatives are not putting forth a bill to have an election, and that's because the things and the corruption and the corrupt bills that the NDP and Liberals want to put through right now will put people like me in jail. Okay? And this is just the beginning, okay? They will take down any dissenting voice that likes Pierre Poilievre. We live in a democracy. People should be able to show their support for whoever the fuck they want and not be called names like far right. Far right? You guys are the ones that threw me off this bus. This wasn't my choice to not be left-leaning. You guys kicked me out when I stuck up for the Freedom Convoy. I was the only person I knew that actually went to BLM. Every child matters. Pride. I went to Pride with my kids before Trudeau was in because it used to not be as debaucherous as it is right now. And they don't want voices like mine heard because I'm so fucking logical and I'm not driven by ideological shit. And even though I'm religious, I believe in Jesus, I know that God made free will and not everybody's going to believe in Jesus. So why would we make all of these rules based upon the Bible if it's, you know, like I'm talking about gay marriage and stuff? Like, as long as it's two consenting adults, you're not hurting anybody. I don't think that, like, we should be forced to follow the Bible, okay? If you want to follow it, that's your every God-given right, okay? That's why I really could never get on board with PPC, because I believe that people should be able to make decisions for themselves, and so does Pierre Poilievre, which is why Pierre Poilievre is the only one that put through a bill that would protect the public from having to go through the mandates again. And NDP and Liberals shut it down, called them anti-vax. It's actually pro-choice. It's not anti-vax, it's pro-choice, okay? So right now, the Conservatives are filibustering House of Commons because Trudeau will not give up the evidence of him being a fucking traitor once again, which I don't even know why they care. Well, it's stopping them from putting things through like Bill 6 C-63, which will put people like me in jail. People for having dissenting voices. Like, he calls Pierre Poilievre far right. I don't even know how he's allowed to call Pierre Poilievre far right in the House of Commons, but it's wrong. It's not okay. And if you want to live in a fucking democracy, do the left not understand that a democracy, what does that mean? That means that there are always going to be differing opinions, and that's okay. And we all need to calm the fuck down. Okay? You need to calm down, as Taylor Swift would say. Now you guys are the ones freaking the fuck out. So, yeah. That's just one of the ways that Trudeau has taken our freedoms. What is this? I found a really good video, and it's titled Finally Someone Said It, and it's on This Guy's Garage. I'm going to be covering all week her video and the things that she talks about, and today we talked about the first 48 seconds of her speech, which was talking about the freedom of expression, because this week, obviously, you guys know, my TikTok was taken down. Go figure, look at this. And yeah, so tomorrow I will be back with another video talking about, so please subscribe. I would love to be able to make some money from this because I gained a following on TikTok and got tons of views, but go figure, I live in Canada and we don't have the content creator fund either. God, does Canada literally have anything? Just a dictator. So please subscribe, and come back tomorrow because I will be sharing shorts all day and I will be sharing another video tomorrow. So have a good one, guys.